CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight in Victoria Park, where Londoners came together marching to end violence against women. The All Our Sisters Choir was among several performers and speakers. The event was backed by corporate sponsors, and emergency responders also took part. Many speakers shared stories of pain and gender-based violence, as well as the importance of consent.
I survived, but I had a long way to go before I got my life back. It would take years of hard healing work. I didn't want to feed the painful memories every year on the anniversary, so I set out to reclaim the day. Like tonight, we're here to take back the night. I was determined to take back August 21st.
And tonight's rally took place in the midst of a London police investigation into hateful graffiti spray painted in North London this week. Jerry Dewan has more on the violent language used and the reaction.
The messages were scrawled on the bridge and sidewalk along Fanshawe Park Road West, east of Wonderland. They were first reported around 7:30 Tuesday evening. London Abused Women's Centre Executive Director Jen Dunn worries for those impacted by the hateful graffiti.
It has a major impact, especially on those who have been subjected to violence, right? It brings up whether it's memories of what they've been subjected to, and you know what, it's going to even be hurtful to women who have never been subjected to violence, because it feels like a targeted attack.
Well, the graffiti was cleaned up shortly after it was identified. Dunn says it's an example of how misogynistic hate speech continues to exist in our community and needs to be addressed. Dunn also points to the trial of 5 World Junior hockey players found not guilty of sexual assault after a sexual encounter with a woman in a London hotel room in June of 2018. She says the verdict centered on the legal definition of consent, but she says what that doesn't speak to is the situation where a woman found herself surrounded by young men and what could have or should have been done.
We can see, based on the work that we do here, where there would have been moments for any one of those guys to say, hey, wait a second, this is maybe not okay. Like, there are this many of us and only one of her.
This is also the first year the province recognizes Consent Awareness Week, which will be observed annually during the 3rd week of September. Dunn says based on what happened in the trial, there continues to be the need for further conversation.
There was still something wrong that happened, right? And I think everybody knows that. Not guilty does not mean innocent. Not guilty, it doesn't mean that nothing happened.
London police say the investigation into the Fanshawe Park Road graffiti is now in the hands of their hate crime unit. Jerry Dewan, CTV News.
An update to yesterday's Northeast London crash involving someone riding an e-scooter. Witnesses reported he was hit by a paratransit bus driver, and today police said he succumbed to his injuries. With more, here's Brian Bicknell.
This was the scene Wednesday. Emergency crews responding to Beckworth Avenue in Northeast London around 4:20 in the afternoon for a collision involving a paratransit van and an e-scooter.
And we are still in the early stages of that investigation, and the road safety section has begun taking over that investigation.
The driver of the vehicle remained at the scene. The man on the scooter was taken to hospital with life-threatening injuries. Staff Sergeant Michael Anderson with the LPS road safety section says the 47-year-old has now died.
As a result of the collision, an adult male who was operating an e-scooter, one that you stand up on, has passed away as a result of the injuries from the collision.
The investigation follows a recent report from the Canadian Institute for Health Information, which showed a 32% increase in reported e-scooter hospitalizations over 1 year, rising to 498 from 375. These e-scooter drivers say the convenience, low cost, and enjoyment outweigh the risks.
It's pretty fun. It's easy to navigate, easy to control. They're very fast.
If you're not paying attention, I'm sure it'd be unsafe, but if you're paying attention, you'll be okay.
As for the rules of the road for e-scooters, some of them overlap with e-bikes, but not all of them. For instance, an e-scooter can only go up to 24 kilometers per hour, whereas an e-bike can go up to 32 kilometers per hour under the Highway Traffic Act. Cycling advocate Andrew McLeod McClanahan says road safety comes down to building roads for all who use them.
There's more blind spots to check. There's a bit of changes with the infrastructure in town where you need to think about, maybe someone will be coming up on my right at a different velocity. Just take it slow, or even just drive the speed limit.
In the meantime, police say they're looking for more information for their investigation. Anyone who was on Beckworth at the time of the collision on Wednesday is asked to reach out to police. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
London police are asking for public help finding a driver who passed a stopped school bus. The incident happened Tuesday morning on Pond Mills Road. Police have released this dashcam video showing someone driving a silver sedan passing the bus while its lights are flashing. Anyone with additional video footage or who saw the incident is asked to contact police. A manslaughter trial got underway in London today for a woman accused in the death of a 15-month-old toddler. The young victim, Nathaniel McClellan, died in October 2015. He lived in Park Hill, and days before his death, he had been in the care of his babysitter, Megan Van Hoof. The 46-year-old ran a home daycare in Strathroy. She was charged after a lengthy police investigation and has pleaded not guilty to manslaughter. Trial is expected to last 4 to 6 weeks. 2 London City councillors are bringing an updated motion to council next week after a recent attempt failed to gain traction. They're pushing for more clarity on the living conditions in London's supportive housing units rented through a municipal program. With more, here's Daryl Newcomb.
Lives are at stake.
Councillor Susan Stevenson has reworked a motion seeking information about London's housing stability programs. It comes in the wake of this video showing the living conditions in an affordable apartment rented as supportive housing for a homeless Londoner.
Let us know what's not working about this current policy. Why do the apartments look like that? Maybe they can't get access to do the proper inspections.
Stevenson's motion would direct city staff to prepare a report by October 20th that includes issues identified by partner social agencies such as tenant participation, refusal of supports or inspections, and removing tenants that put others at risk, recommendations to amend the existing contracts to address the issues, overall success rates and trends of tenants maintaining stability, and recommendations including service delivery and advocacy to senior governments. The deputy mayor has agreed to second the motion.
I sit on the board of LMCH. I know that it is not always the service provider, that it is sometimes the tenant that is creating the barrier to delivering services. If that's the case, I want us to understand that.
It was at the September 8th meeting of the Community and Protective Services Committee that Councillor Stevenson was unsuccessful getting a somewhat similar motion onto the agenda for next week's council meeting. Stevenson believes the motion is urgent and can't wait until the next cycle of committee meetings.
Smoke alarms are down, there's evidence of illegal activity, and it's a fire hazard. It's a hazard for the neighborhood. So this cannot wait.
Project Home connects individuals referred by City Hall with affordable apartments and supports in the form of visits by social agencies. St. Leonard's Community Services recently told CTV News that out of hundreds of placements, the issues seen in the landlord's video have only happened a handful of times.
Find a way to move forward and improve the policies that we have in place so that we get the outcome that we want, which is safe, permanent housing.
I'm not a fan of the revolving door approach. I want to know that this is actually going to be providing some longer-term stability. So what does success look like? How are we defining that?
City Council meets on September 23rd. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Provincial employees were protesting outside Queen's Park today, demanding the government change course on forcing them back to the office full-time. As Siobhan Morris reports, thousands have signed a petition calling for a reversal.
Hundreds of public sector workers spill out of office buildings near Queen's Park, pushing back on a plan that will see them in the office 5 days a week starting in January.
Why are we going back to this stone age?
While remote work became the norm during the pandemic, labor union AMAPSIO says their members have had flexibility to do it for 15 years.
It's been proven to work. We've proven that we are professionals who can get the job done.
Right now, public service employees are only required to be in the office 3 days a week. Last month, the Premier emphasized helping businesses that rely on commuters and the importance of being face-to-face.
Everyone's more productive when they're at work, and how do you mentor someone over a phone? You can't.
These boxes represent the 13,000 people Amapsio says have signed a petition telling Doug Ford he's wrong. Workers who have had flexibility to go in or work from home insist it's a better setup for the taxpayers who pay their salaries.
When I work from home, I'm well rested and I can work longer.
Actually means that I can do better work. I'm wasting less time commuting, less time having to take breaks.
There's a feeling here of being insulted, disrespected by the return to office edict.
Our members are angry, and we're here today to, tell the government, our employer, that this was unfair. Logistically, it's not going to work.
Including what Amapsio says is a lack of appropriate space to work.
I deal with confidential labor relations issues. I don't want to be talking about them when there's 20 people around.
Amapsio is meeting with the Secretary of Cabinet at the end of the month, hoping for a change of heart. But at this moment, the government's return to office plan remains in place. A spokesperson for Treasury Board President Caroline Mulrooney explains the 5 days per week in workplace standard represents the current workforce landscape in the province, reinforcing our commitment to reflecting the people and businesses we serve across Ontario. Workers do see value in being together.
But there's value in letting people take care of their families. There's value in letting people get home immediately instead of spending 1, 2, 3 hours a day in commute. It means that we're better rested. It means we're energized and we're able to give our best every day.
Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Mexico on a trade mission trying to strengthen our relationship with Mexican leaders. However, as Judy Trin reports, these meetings come after several premiers made remarks which may add tension to those talks.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is using this bilateral meeting with President Claudia Sheinbaum to reset a relationship that had been previously sidelined. Today, the two signed a comprehensive strategic partnership. The emphasis on strengthening ties with Mexico comes as U.S. President Donald Trump begins the process of unraveling CUSMA, the North American Trade Agreement. Last year, Canada did $56 billion of trade with Mexico, and Carney wants to boost that number. The Prime Minister is meeting with President Sheinbaum one-on-one. The leaders will discuss more cooperation to combat the trafficking of drugs, guns, and people. But the focus will be on building up their economies. They will also have a working lunch with top ministers, including Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand, along with Dominic LeBlanc, the lead minister responsible for U.S. trade negotiations. While the leaders talk about increasing trade with each other, it will be a conversation in the context of Trump's desire for a new North American deal.
They will be discussing their approach to the possible renegotiation of the CUSMA, but I think they're going to walk a careful balance in that they don't want to appear to be ganging up on the United States on this.
After their 4-hour meeting wraps up, the Prime Minister will hold a reception for Canadian business leaders who want to expand into Mexico. Judy Trin, CTV News, Mexico City.
September is when the pro sports calendar ramps back up, and with it, an onslaught of gambling advertising. For many fans, they could be just starting a new fantasy football season. Lauren Stallone has more on the importance of playing responsibly.
The month of September might mark the end of summer, but it also means the start of fantasy football season.
Sports is my way to escape and kind of break away, especially with the pressures from school.
For Western University student Travis Mackay, fantasy football has allowed him to stay connected to the sports world.
I am an avid sports fan. Throughout my entire life, I grew up playing sports, so it's been a key part about who I am.
He says participating in the game is a great way to stay in touch with friends.
Whether you're kind of making fun of them for how bad your team is or really being excited about how the team you follow is doing well, plus your fantasy team's going well, so it's always a good time.
And while for Mackay, fantasy football is nothing more than friendly competition, mental health experts say the impact on an individual can be far from casual.
Typically when they're spending more time than they should gambling, their mood is dropping, so they might be feeling some more depression or some more anxiety.
Health professionals say young people are especially vulnerable to addiction.
Their brains are still developing up until around the age of 26.
But for Travis, he reminds himself the goal is simple, to have fun.
We all know what everyone's limitations are, and we don't want to really push those kind of boundaries. And I know people can and have experienced stuff where they've kind of gone past that limit, and that's where things kind of get wary.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
London's longest-running lunch and launch campaign by the local United Way is back.
It marks the official start of the United Way campaign season. So we're here at City Plaza. There's about 1,000 people here enjoying lunch. And the best part is with each ticket sold, we buy a meal for someone in need in our community.
Organizers say they want to encourage paying it forward through their campaign. According to the United Way, all donations stay local, with nearly 70% of funding coming from community members, an important part of supporting people who need help. A new recreation space opened in Huron County today.
There we go.
A ribbon-cutting ceremony for Wingham's new pickleball and tennis courts. The project was paid for by the Vance Fund and the North Huron Township. Locals say the sports are growing in popularity in the region, with these resurfaced courts expected to last for decades.
No, absolutely. When you talk about community coming together, and you talk about community building, a piece of that is the quality of life, and having opportunities and facilities such as these in place really represents that opportunity for the community to come together, have an opportunity to play, have some fun, and enjoy quality of life right in their own backyard.
Later on CTV News, when a village hits the jackpot, Canada's newest millionaires and their lottery luck in a remote northern community.
5K a day is back on 97.5
Virgin Radio.
Listen to Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben for your chance to win $5,000
Every weekday.
5K a day.
Virgin Radio.
Canada's main stock index was up today on strength in the technology sector. The TSX climbed 132 points. In New York, the Dow added 124, the Nasdaq up 209. The Canadian dollar down 1/5 cent on commodity markets. Gold lost almost $40 an ounce, and oil dropped 44 cents a barrel. Widespread backlash today after Disney executives pulled Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air. There's still no clarity on whether the late-night host has actually been fired, though. And as Heather Wright reports, the bigger conversation has now shifted to what constitutes free speech in America.
Jimmy Kimmel stays, Trump must go.
Tonight, protests outside of ABC headquarters. The reaction to Jimmy Kimmel being pulled from American airwaves as polarized as the country's politics.
You can't go around firing somebody because you're fearful or trying to suck up to an authoritarian criminal administration in the Oval Office.
While Kimmel's comments have been slammed as unfunny and untrue.
There's a very concerted effort to try to lie to the American people.
The controversy all stems from what Kimmel said on his show Monday night.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Jimmy Kimmel went on to criticize Donald Trump's mourning of Kirk, pointing to the president's answer when asked how he was holding up.
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House.
In response to the comments, the chair of the Federal Communications Commission issued an unsubtle threat to ABC and its affiliates, implying broadcast licenses could be at risk if they did not take action against Kimmel. Nexstar, an owner of ABC affiliate stations that is trying to merge with another group and will need FCC approval, was the first to yank Kimmel. ABC followed suit shortly after, while another company, Sinclair, demanded an apology from Kimmel in a donation to Kirk's organization. Today, Donald Trump doubled down, saying broadcasters risk their licenses if hosts criticize him, but downplayed concerns about freedom of speech.
You can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
ABC's decision to suspend Kimmel is not the first time a U.S. network has acquiesced to pressure from the White House. CBS settled a lawsuit over a 60 Minutes interview that coincided with a merger between its parent company Paramount and Skydance. CBS has also announced plans to cancel The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, a move the network says was a business decision. Today, former President Barack Obama slammed the decision, accusing the Trump White House of taking cancel culture to a new and dangerous level.
And while Jimmy Kimmel has not been officially fired, it's not clear when or if he will return to his show. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Good evening, I'm Rita Ismail. As we head into the night, we have a few high clouds and comfortable dry conditions. We had a low pressure system swing on through earlier today, but it didn't really pack much in the way of much needed moisture. We're going to have to wait until next week to get a little bit of rain. The weekend looks absolutely beautiful, and Friday, the same thing goes. Lots of sunshine for tomorrow, but we are tracking a couple of weather makers that will bring in that much needed rainfall as we get ready to welcome fall on Monday. I'll break down the forecast for you coming up right after the break.
Welcome back on the desk with Rita Ismail and what has been, well, the last full week of summer. It has felt like summer. And even with being September, we haven't had that midsummer humidity either. So it's been, I think the word you used earlier was pleasant all week long. It's been beautiful.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for the forecast. Thank you, Carlyle, for sure. Yeah, beautiful conditions. And we're going to hold on to that as well as we head into Friday and Saturday, although it will be noticeably cooler in terms of our daytime high. Today we hit 28 degrees and felt like 30, 31 with a little bit of humidity. Lots of sunshine in the forecast throughout the day, even though we did have a weak low front pass through. Normal this time of year, 21. Again, we are well above that. The record 33 back in 1955, record low -1 in 1943. As you can see here on the satellite radar, a few clouds as we head into the night, comfortable, calm conditions. So great news. You can open up a window and let some fresh air in. Our temperatures actually dropping tonight and a lot more comfortable than yesterday because we had that cold front push through and it shifted the winds. They've been out of the north throughout the day, and that means that cooler air filtering in for our overnight forecast. Again, high pressure in play for tomorrow, and that's great news if you love sunshine because we'll have lots of it heading into the afternoon. The cloud cover clears by about noon tomorrow, and then mainly sunny conditions right across southwestern Ontario. Heading into Sunday, we'll hold on to that sunshine to start the day off, but we are tracking the next weather maker that will push through late day Sunday, and that could be the next chance we could see anything in the way of moisture. So your Friday, the winds out of the north, 10 kilometers per hour, a little bit more cloud cover in the morning, and then clearing nicely by the afternoon. The daytime high at or slightly above the seasonal 23 degrees. So again, compared to today, you'll feel that. It'll be nice and cool. Saturday, mainly sunny to a mix of sun and cloud, 23 degrees, much like Friday. And then Sunday, again, that night rain. We're expecting it to move in late in the day, 25 degrees. And then the first full day of fall is Monday, of course, 24 degrees. And that's that rainfall moving through overnight Sunday into Monday. The chances there for Tuesday as well. And we'll welcome this rain because it's been quite a while. We didn't really get much rain this summer. Wednesday and Thursday, mostly cloudy with temperatures sitting at the seasonal value. Midwestern Ontario, gorgeous day for you tomorrow as well. Very comfortable, 20 degrees, especially along the shores of Lake Huron. Cooler temperatures, that wind out of the north. Saturday and Sunday, a beautiful weekend overall. Again, not expecting much in the way of rainfall for Midwestern Ontario until overnight Sunday into Monday morning. And then there's fall arriving on Monday around 2 p.m. Tuesday, those showers push through, but our temperatures starting to look more like fall, seasonal for the first full week of autumn starting on Monday. Carlyle.
Thanks very much, Rita. 2 Bruce County musicians won big at the Canadian Country Music Association Awards last weekend. Owen Riegling won Album of the Year for Bruce County, an ode to his time growing up near Mildmay. Riegling also won Songwriter of the Year and Breakthrough Artist at last year's award show. Meanwhile, Owen Sound's Tyler Beckett was named Canada's top fiddler, his first CCMA award. A prickly situation for some local police officers this past weekend. Saugeen Shores police released this photo, their reason for their call. They say someone found a baby porcupine in their garage. Police say they were able to corral the young animal into a plastic bin. There you see it right there. And it was released back into the wild, and it is safe and sound. Finally tonight, a massive payout for 14 lottery players in a remote northern community. They split a $50 million jackpot, getting their checks today. With more, here's Geneviève Beauchemin.
Bonne-Espérance is a postcard pretty small fishing village that hit the jackpot. And marking a first in its history, Lotto Quebec chartered a small plane and invited journalists, big checks in hand. Just about all of the village's 500 souls gathered to celebrate the $50 million win.
Congratulations. Au nom de Lotto Québec, il me fait vraiment plaisir de vous remettre ce chèque de 50 millions de dollars. Félicitations.
A moment, as the mayor said, that will mark the history of Bonne-Espérance.
In a million years did I ever even dream of coming here and doing this. This is fantastic.
It's at St. Paul's General Store, a few kilometers away, that the ticket to the Good Life, well, to 14 good lives, was sold. The retailer gets a commission. That's this check. And Della Spingle, who owns the store with her husband, is also among winners.
Oh, there was lots of screaming and yelling and yahoo.
The group organized by the General Store has been together for nearly 20 years, winning very little over the years. And so there was a lot of disbelief when a chain of calls started to reach the winners. And as one might expect, news spread fast.
I was just completely frozen. I was shaking. I said, this can't be real. This is not real. You know, like, I can't believe this is happening. It was so weird.
The winners began to gather at the General Store.
Between 14 of you, you won $50 million.
Oh my God!
3.5 million each.
That's Carolyn Sims with 11 children to spoil, who still can't believe there's a check to her name that size.
I couldn't believe it, and I still can't. It's hard to imagine.
It's emotional.
Yeah.
It changes your life.
Then there's Loretta Cabot-Griffin.
They retired from the fish plant.
She's a 72-year-old fish plant worker, and she hung up, or well, threw out her hairnet. And now retiring. 4 winners live on the same street. They've now dubbed it Millionaire's Row, a massive transformation in a town where the main industry is fishing, and that has, over the years, struggled through some hard times. And so, as they say, winning the lottery won't change the world, but it is certainly transforming Bonne-Espérance. Geneviève Beauchemin, CTV News, Bonne-Espérance, Quebec.
That's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.